humongous amounts of fund balance inside reserves that have
Tom, we
almost
need
no
to
revenue.
decide tonight, like, what allocations we're recommending, pushing.
And unless we can reassign any general fund. The only board action item is the capital reserve amount that needs board action to retroactively move it within the audit. The general fund, the assigns and unassigned, we can't go above the 8%, but anything else can be mixed and matched at whatever discretion until the audit's closed, and then we will have the opportunity again next year to reallocate those and mix and match again.
Under the other things.
So we'll have the audit closed here within the next 2 weeks. So Greg, we're aligning with the board approving the 4.75 that will be closed for the year. And then next year when we look at when the June 30th ends and we can reallocate funds within the audit, we can then look at reallocating them into different buckets or assign them to different. But they can be reassigned every year, small amounts, big amounts. We can just sign it to one pot, say it's all district improvements. This is just so we know how much is allocated to each. Keeps us moving forward with what we designate first. So in the past, we've designated money towards future improvements. It then morphed into middle school, high school fund. So that's why I said that athletics can be morphed. Right now, it's just, that's the soonest cost on the capital projects. That's large.
So the future athletic projects is going to be a separate fund.
Right now, it's just allocating funds. If the board would say we're going to move forward with a track, I would then say let's move that to capital reserve and pay it out of capital reserve. But until that time, we don't want to move it. So it's the same thing we did with the land sale. It was in general fund until now we're saying we moved past, we got the design. We're going to come to bid day here, January, February mark. That's the time to move it because otherwise we're going to move it after that. So this, the 275 is going to be after that for the second phase.
So the only thing we recommend is we'll take action on 275 capital fund.
Yes.
However, that.
Yeah, that'll be on the December. Yeah, we still have an opportunity to change it, but once we, with December meeting, and we'll opt in. We'll jump forward with the questions. So then here's capital projects. Just a reminder, the yellow at the top is what's part 2 pending still, and then the bottom of the white that's already been discussed. The 3 there were approved, and then the bottom one was removed. So we still have to look at seal coating, paint alignment on the playground. I think the parent loop discussion, the parking, I know Dr. Moyer and I talked about the loop was to address parking and rerouting parents. If the loop is not of concern, parking is still of concern. This building still wasn't designed to hold the amount of teachers and staff and parents here, so we would like to still pursue parking spots. With that, it still has a design cost. With everything else that's designed, you have to get it go through permitting because we're disturbing the soil and whatnot. So that still will be a cost. So we can either approve it a cost now for that, or we can pause for next year and come back to the table next year for parking. But I think that's, we talked about that, parking's just hard to come by here. Strategically, the only location I talked to Victor is out front. Whether we do it within the loop grass area, off to the side grassy area, or somewhere else, that would come through design and vetting that where the best drainage is, where the best traffic flow is, not to disturb. So that number would come down from that loop, but we still have to go to design and get a new number. So that's up to the committee to push that to the board. To only go with design and then approve it later, or any mix and match in between. And then lastly, the carpet. Just want to again read it. It's this from original carpet for 25 years. It is, I mean, in all maintenance perspectives, it is coming end of life. So that's where carpet does need to replace eventually, if it's not this year, hopefully it's next year, the year after, but at some point, it's just gonna get worse rather than better.
Wouldn't the steel paint lines in the playground a lot higher?
I copied. Yeah, and I just want to remind, these are placeholder amounts. Generally, we come in lower. Once in a while, stuff does come in higher than estimations, because these are off of quoted prices from individuals. But if we go out, RFP or bid, sometimes come in higher. So just want to let you know that this will be a secondary, this is a approval that we go out and get numbers, and then a secondary will come when the official contracts come. If it's above higher amount, I always have a secondary approval that we're willing to go higher, and then we approve the higher.
So you will approve these and like the contract with the person.
Yes, correct. So like right now, for instance, seal coating went through, Victor and I would go out to seal coating companies and say we're looking to seal coat. They would give us a price for the square footage and what we're looking for. Generally, they come in lower, and we just have to contract for that set amount on the board agenda, whenever that timing comes up. Generally, it's in the spring. Kids, in this case, kids aren't when staff is coming in. So that's where it's remaining is the yellow part. So I guess any more further discussions, and then we walk through the spaces. I know some board members came to witness dismissal. So I guess any if or all that are making it through, none. You know, if it needs to go back on the capital project list, readdress next year.
I'm okay with the playground, but
I'll just say.
I know you want that.
Well, I'm just saying, every year we wait, it's gonna be a cost higher. I know talking with Victor, the water wheel, it didn't make it. It's still functional, but we tried to put $2,000 into $16,000. So each year it's gonna cost to keep it going and keep maintenance in it. So. Nope. Yep. So.
Because remember, because new water wheels aren't as well made as
I think the consensus was if it's still working, keep using it rather than preventively replacing it, because we knew it was getting old and obsolete.
I'm just wondering, where is this water wheel?
If you ever seen the baseball where it's shooting out the
Oh,
water and
the
it
water's
really self in,
Oh, gotcha.
it goes
Okay.
there in the track.
He's
so-
thinking of a
which
mill that goes around.
that one's also 20 plus years old.
Gotcha.
And we knew it was going to start costing
Okay.
us more money.
I was thinking something else. No, I'm sorry.
It's up to you two, because you can,
Well, I'm good with the seal coating. I'm no to the parent school. And I'm thinking.
A note of what, Nick?
I'm no to the parent school.
he wants the car.
I think that after doing the walkthrough and seeing the bad clothes, shoes, and carpets, and water dripping up underneath people's desks and chairs. However, so I'm good with putting it on the list. If we can't get a reasonable pricing for contractors, then we're not going to go with that.
I'll just let you know, Victor and I will vet everybody. If it's not within a reasonable amount, so just, for instance, if it's not within a couple thousand of this approved number, we would just say no, and I would let the board know that if my price will come back. So I'm not gonna bring something that's unreasonable. Now, if we get multiples and they're all within the same ballpark, that might be a question of the board is we just missed the estimation. And that might be a different conversation.
Chair Yerger, I would just recommend that we do give the seal coating, the seal coat and painting lines from the playground strong consideration. I would agree with Nick. I've been out there on multiple occasions now, I don't think, and I've seen a lot of schools and dismissals and arrivals and so on. I don't believe we really need to reroute that parent loop. I was actually pretty impressed with how quickly we get kids dismissed in such a large building as this. I do think we need to give strong consideration to adding some parking here. I don't want to take, I think we need to really involve staff here, that we don't take any of the physical education grounds, the green grounds that the kids are using for PE class. And so I think that's important that we involve the staff here. But additional parking is really needed.
Well, then that needs to be extracted from the whole 115.
Yeah.
We don't want the parents.
I think that's what Tom said.
Yeah.
And then also, replacing the carpet. My fear is with inflation and so on, you can pay me now or pay me later. We know it's 25 years old. I think we give that consideration as well. Just my 2 cents.
Okay, so.
I said recommendations to the committee.
So move the carpet forward.
What did you say?
Move the carpet forward.
Make sure you tell them that everybody.
Playground reseal, move that forward. This is the committee.
So-
Tell Katie Gaines and Janet Quebec that Katie said no.
They might not let you forward. So just to circle back to the parent loop, is it a no, we don't want it at all? Is it not just the parking issue? Do we want to say it's not a now? Do we want to say, Victor and I look at it further to get a better estimation for next year? Like, I don't want to, it's going to come back. Parking is always going to be a problem here. But I just want to know the direction of, are we placing it next year to discuss and vet, or is it, do we proceed now, and then we come back to it at a later time with costs? I just want to get a,
How many years has this been in private?
since 2016?
That's almost 10 years that we function with parking situation related to this.
I would say, like I've said before, it's been a conversation, yes. I think anybody can manage with what they have, but on back to school nights when we have parents parking every which way for, we have no spots, we have athletic events here, and they're parked up. Middle school isn't.
But I would say even on a daily basis,
When
there's
there's field,
sometimes.
when there's field trips here and parents are coming, staff does not have parking.
There's several times I'm parking in the grass on a regular day.
So,
And just stand or walk or something.
Sometimes, sorry.
We could run a shuttle bus.
so I know it's not every day, but there is a lot of days throughout the year that we are looking for spots and people park where they're not supposed to park.
Is that 5 days out of the year, 7 days out of the year?
But you know what, here's my issue with the whole thing. Tom, here's my issue with the whole thing. We don't want to take away those green areas in the back where you guys were planning to do that with. Because first of all, that's part of the story walk, and the kids go out there and play. And then behind the parking lot that's on the side there, that is probably marshy. Like, that's gonna be an issue. So
Yeah, so-
where would you put it?
So the 2 spots, like I said, would be within the loop. There's a green section in the loop. Be very similar to how the high school has parking. in the
No, they use that section in the, I
Well,
won't agree to
I
that
would say
at all.
there's also,
They do the Easter egg hunting there and everything.
there's a very viable that we use for soccer outside that's not utilized for PE, which could be. So we do have other green spots that we could take some away from parking that we wouldn't impact PE. They just prefer these 2 spots out front rather than the one in the back. We did look at that when we were looking at parking. That's why we suggested having parking over here between us and the houses, because it had the least amount of impact on PE. Loop, they could still use the one out back, but they would use this little section over here off to the side. And that would be where we would probably first look to see what it would take to go back there and add parking. So there are several options we looked at. We also looked at if we wanted to impact the sidewalk section here and move this closer to the building and extend that. But that's a bigger scope of work and we weren't ready to go that far. So that was everything we looked at over several different occasions to get to where we ended up with the drawing
if there's approval for the drawings or plan, that would give more answers on actual costs, actual scope of work, what it's gonna look like, what it's gonna cost.
Yeah, so the problem, so to be upfront is, if you go to design, you're basically gonna want, like, it doesn't make sense to go to design and then not go to bid, to not, because you're gonna get cost to design it and then it never comes to fruition. So this has to be, we're willing to do this at a certain price, and then we can design it towards that and spend design costs. Otherwise, then we don't wanna look at that.
It's just that you gotta pay to get good information.
Correct.
And that is problematic to make a decision moving forward, because it's ranges and not specific, and
So it comes down to, we agree with parking, we'll negotiate the price at the time. I'm not sure where at, we agree with parking.
Where did
Go
you
to
get the
design.
115 for the loop and the park?
That was estimations by RLPS when they visually looked at it for placeholders. So they didn't go through any permitting, they just said, here's a rough guess of what we think it would cost based on what you're telling us you're looking at to design.
But it shouldn't be anywhere near 115 for just the park.
We would assume yes, but I can't answer. My assumption is probably closer to 90. Because the loop was just paving.
The loop is just what?
Was just like, just paving the loop. A lot of it's just the subsurface and so I would assume it's gonna be that 75 to 90 range.
Are they planning on resurfacing the current loop and to do all that?
That would be a test to see what would be needed there. So like I said, until we go to design, they give us
Was
recommendations.
that redone when the project was done? Because we redid the district office side parking lot.
We just
But
redid
didn't-
that one.
But we didn't redo this one. Is there a reason why we didn't, or is it just? is that-
This one was needed for the loop because of it breaking from the drainage. So we had to redo the drain, tear it up, and it's been patched several times, it kept cracking, the water kept coming through. So that's why we redid the loop and the district office lot because of that. It kept cracking, it kept repairing it, it kept just being sunken cost. So that's why Victor recommended the Petromet, because he had success over at Willie Acres, because that also was cracking. He said he hasn't had any problems since he put that down. It's an extra barrier, and he put extra cost in there to add extra drainage and move the water away with all the wetlands. So that's why we did that.
I would think that if this part was apparently in good shape, we do everything over now. I think the time to add more parking out there is going to be when they're going to resurface that. Because that's when you're going to be putting asphalt in, that's when you're going to be doing the whole thing. And that would be the time when you're going to do work out there, and then you can be spending the money.
That's a fair point.
So
I did work with Victor, see what his estimated time frame is for that. Yep.
Okay, that works.
We can do that.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move the other two for discussion on Monday, and then potential for alternates. Last is just the timeline. Like I said, the allocation of funds was tonight. This is technically the December meeting early because of the holiday. January meeting, I will have the review of the audit AFR to look at what impacts were to the budget, the actuals, and then April, May, and June meetings would be budget. So that's just the timeline. And that's all I have.
What's that?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
So, on the agenda.
Oh, sorry, yes, forgot about that. I don't have anything, it was just kind of an open discussion, so I'll, I'll
Okay.
let that open to you.
What do you want to talk about?
Just,
Yeah, I'll summarize that. We had Corey going to come to our agenda review meeting before leadership to discuss the, there was a survey sent out to board members to get some ideas about updating our live streaming equipment. You can't hear me still?
You met with who? We didn't hear who you met with. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I just didn't hear.
We met with Corey Portman. He's the, what's his title?
Director of Technology.
Director of Technology. And we are having our tech department look into options for upgrading the board, live stream capabilities. We're aware of some of the technology failings that we've had with the current system that was given to us in the last days of our former superintendent, that the board had no knowledge or awareness of, and neither did the other administration